Yeah, obvious, we got a problem here. And it's more than just Alvin streaming Punisher. When life begins to suck, who's reporting it? Luckily, you got two friends who you won't forget. Coming live, Alvin and Fran on survival. Laughing non-stop, case drops on a cycle. Louder than intrusive thoughts off an iPhone. How they make the world seem bright with the lights off? AFs, it might as well stay up. Lies being told like that dinosaur BS. Magnifying glass to the ground if they don't see us. Having the time, roasting your favorite pizza. Bougie ain't an option, it's the wage. Take it to the grave, have moving to the place. You already know when they take the case. Laugh the pain away, it's affirmative murder.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Affirmative Murder, the equal opportunity true crime comedy podcast. I am Alvin Williams, joined as always by my partner in true crime, Francel Evans.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Yeah, man, I'm the mailman. Can't you tell, man? Gonna post to it.
What up? Fran, como estas? Bien y tú? I did everything at the same time. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm chilling. What, you working on Spanish? What's going on?
I just like to be, you got to sharpen, your sword at all times. You never know what kind of conversations you can find yourself in. So I like to be like a Swiss Army knife, and in any scenario, I can at least get by.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. We are just a day. Well, no, I guess while we're recording this, this is Inception type of stuff. Okay. While this is out, we are probably in a Chili's too.
Yeah.
Because it is the day of us travel day. This is dropping on travel day. So if you're hearing this as it releases, when we're like at a Chili's too right now in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or something like that. So while this is released and you're listening to this, we are traveling down to Orlando for CrimeCon. Fran, what are some things that you have expectations for? What is a win in your eyes for CrimeCon? What is a good weekend for you? Like, lay it out.
A good weekend?
A good weekend, like as far as, networking, whatever the goal. If you have a goal, I don't know.
The thing about, I think a lot of the people don't know is like, at the booth, it can feel kind of monotonous because, especially on a Saturday. Saturday is like the longest day.
Yeah, it's get down there early and it ends late.
It's a long day, but it's fun. But I plan just chilling out, relaxing, and hanging out, and get turned a little bit maybe. If we got some time.
In the lobby, have a couple of post CrimeCon interactions, drinks, and those kind of shenanigans are always fun. That's the best time to get the real conversations going and really talking to people and getting to know people. So I'm also looking forward to that too. That'll be really fun, and I'm excited to get some good content and hopefully interview some people that are floating by. I'm hoping to catch a white whale, maybe a Chris Hansen or something floating by, and we grab him for 5-10 minutes if possible. I'm sure he moves with security very deep because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that probably have Chris Hansen in their scopes.
But they don't hang out though. It's not like they go
very
in
true.
Business. It's like they go and show their face like they're supposed to do, and then
right. Yeah, they're there to do the work and then get the fuck up out of there. They're not really mingling. But listen, that's my hope. My hope is to catch one of those kind of random interviews from somebody with a world of knowledge that could really drop some gems on the podcast and for the listeners about this true crime space, where it's going, what needs to happen. Those are some of my big hopes and dreams for the weekend. But one thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the story this week, which is a doozy of a story. Also, last week, people seemed to be very, very receptive of the young QC story. It was a crazy one, and I've been posting the videos from his YouTube channel a lot because I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. And upon, some time going by, have you since reflected on that? Do you have any new thoughts since the episodes dropped out? Like, what are your thoughts on the young QC debacle?
I don't think my original, whatever we talked about in the episode changed much, except for the fact that, this dude was like really out here like, I'm him. He's like, that's how he was walking around, like, I'm this dude, I'm him. And nobody really knew who he was. That's another thing, like, you walk around with this idea that, I'm famous and I got all this money, but it's like, if it was given to you and you kind of hire people to come in and make it, it's like, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's a facade.
It's like you live in your own world. Like you live in this own little bubble where it's like, people love me and this and I'm this. Like, bro, no, you're not really that talented, so you cut it out. you know, I mean,
I will push back.
Say,
I will push back on that. I've had several people. I've had several people message me and say, "Listen, what I've put on our social media platforms will rival a lot of Tyler Perry work."
Who are these people that agree with you with that?
A lot of people. I'm not gonna name people. I don't have their names written down because I just real recognize real. I saw people on my side about it in a lot of ways, and so I just wanted to say that I stand by. Well,
I'll take your word for it because you run social media, so I don't know what's true or what's false.
I don't really know what could you disagree with me about what I said. Do you go and see Tyler Perry movies?
No.
And why not?
Because I like the plays.
But there hasn't been a play for like 20 years.
So I don't.
So you just don't support him?
No.
Do you think he's talented?
Yes, absolutely. I think he's hilarious.
But you don't watch his content.
I don't know. I like his plays. If he came up with plays, I'll be his number one supporter for sure. Like if he did like a tour with plays.
But he's made so much content since the play. I mean, it's not like he's not making anything.
Because the movies are a spinoff of the plays. Like I'm like I don't like that.
Not anymore, man. He's made a movie of every play that he's done. These are new things now that you're just not supporting.
And those were I mean, it was okay, but it's like I'm just like nah. They just remind me too much of the plays. So now they're just movies.
So you don't like them?
No, I said I didn't like them. I said I like the plays.
That's fair. Okay, so you don't like them. Let's extrapolate that point. So you don't like them. You don't think it's possible that somebody could just think it's okay and go support it because Tyler Perry, they want to see him succeed and he's an institution and they just want to, go see a movie with the family for the weekend, and why not support a black man making movies? I mean, you think everybody that goes to see Tyler Perry loves they're just like, man, this should be Oscar nominated.
Yes.
Hey,
Mr.
something?
Brown and everything. Yes, they go.
We don't have to start naming his intellectual properties, man. That's
what?
That's cool. We don't got to start naming the characters. No, we don't got to do that. That's fine.
What's wrong with that? Well, Mr. Brown is funny. He's hilarious. Can we agree on that? He's not hilarious?
He was hilarious when I was like 13. I don't know if I would think Mr. Brown is hilarious right now today.
No, he's absolutely. He's
yes, his pants are very small and he has a high voice and he's funny. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
What if people go and see Mr. Brown then?
That's fine. I'm just listen. That's fine, man. That's fine. I
just think I think you're making this up. I think you're coming in here with like, I have this group of people behind me that's
I didn't say all that.
We hate Tyler Perry.
I didn't say I hate Tyler
Perry.
Only black people support him.
I
don't hate Tyler Perry at all, and I don't think only black people support him. But like,
you just said that.
I said mostly black people support Tyler Perry, though. Yeah, I mean, that's not a crazy thing to say. Mostly Mexican and Hispanic people like Gabriel, what's his name, Big Fluffy?
Iglesias?
Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias, is that his name?
I think so, right?
Yeah, Big Fluffy.
Yes.
He's a Hispanic comedian who speaks about Hispanic culture.
And he's funny.
But he's more funny to people who have lived this experience.
But he is funny, though.
Sure, he's
objectively funny.
Okay, sure. He's objectively funny.
He's not funny?
I've definitely laughed at Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes. So what are you saying that only Hispanic
I'm saying that some people, Joe Coy, there's a ton of people out there. Joe Coy is a Filipino comedian. A lot of his comedy is based around him being Filipino, so his audience is predominantly Filipino. But he's a funny comedian.
Yes, he is funny.
Tyler Perry knows how to make a movie. He bought a bunch of cameras and he knows how to write something that is compelling in some kind of way. But mostly black people go and see his art. And
he's a God-fearing man, so he also has the religion behind him as well. So people do like that. People do like that of his movies and his plays.
Sure, I will give you that too.
Okay.
Black people, church people.
But your point is you're only saying that Hispanic people only don't really think he get.
I didn't say only.
Hispanic people don't really think he's funny, but
who, Tyler Perry?
Experience? No, Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, got it. Okay.
They don't think he's really that funny, but I didn't say that because
that's no. Now you're trying to go too equivalent in the comparison. Okay. I'm just saying that his audience is mostly based off people who know what he's talking about. I think you're fabricating whatever this group that you have that that follows you and goes like, we ride for you. I think that's false. Nobody's riding for me. They just agreed that I said Tyler Perry has really capitalized on black people being so supportive and wanting him to succeed. I think that's racist. But go ahead, man. That's racist. Yeah, I think you're being racist. I think you're like only black people. Black people don't really like him. You keep saying only because he's black. That's why we're gonna go see his movies. Black people only like him because he's black is not what I said. Black people like that he's black and want to support a person making art and making money. Listen, man, I think that Coach Prime is doing a great job, right? Yes. Do you think that it's not aiding him in the black community to be riding for them like he is, that it's Deion Sanders, like boisterous black athlete? But people love. You don't think him being black is not like for the culture, and you don't think that that's part of it? Okay, but he was an athlete though.
Him being a great athlete back in the 90s helped him. I mean, helped the group that he has now that follow him. Like, if he was, it's a whole bunch of black coaches. That don't mean everybody's supporting the black coaches.
Yeah, but he's a famous black coach, is what I'm saying.
Right? Yes.
I'm not just saying they support him because he's black. They support him because he's a black celebrity.
Okay.
And they want to see him succeed.
Right. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
I just don't like disrespect.
I'm not disrespecting. Who am I disrespecting?
Tyler Perry. So you have Tyler Perry. You disrespecting Tyler Perry, the empire he's built, and all the stuff that he's doing in the community. I just think you're being disrespectful.
How did I disrespect all that by saying black people want to see him succeed, so they go support his mediocre art?
No, you see, why you gotta throw that in there?
I'm okay. My bad. I'm okay. You know something, man? Tyler Perry's great. I'm sorry that I offended you and all the Tyler Perry movies that I can see behind you on your DVD stand that you support and go out and spend your money on Tyler Perry.
I'm gonna reach out to him, tweet him, and be like, "This guy called you mediocre,"
and he's gonna be like, "Oh hell, what the hell?" And thank you, Fran. What movie have you seen of mine in 2023? And you will say,
"Diary of a Mad Black Woman."
Anyway, Fred, let's get into some true crime news. I wanted to talk about something really quickly. Earlier this month, a guy named Kevin McGrath was on a Carnival cruise with his family. It was the last night of the cruise. They were due to be docking back in Florida in the morning. And around 2 a.m., this guy disappeared from his room. He's been still missing since that night. The cruise docked, and the Carnival cruise itself, the family didn't know that he was missing until the morning time, which was when the ship was docked and ready to get off. So they made a note to the crew to say, hey, we can't find our family member. They deboarded the ship and didn't notify anybody that anybody was missing to get statements or anything like that. So the ship let off. Kevin McGrath is still missing. The Carnival cruise got into some hot water because a woman did a TikTok where she was saying, I'm very upset that the Carnival cruise sent out a questionnaire about the people being, how satisfied were you with the Carnival cruise, but didn't send out an email letting people that were on the cruise know that somebody went missing on the cruise. Carnival responded with a very sassy email basically saying, I don't really know what one has to do with the other. We always send out, it was, and I know how I'm talking is very like sassy and like bitchy, but that's how the email kind of read. It was very much like, I don't know what this person's talking about. We always send out questionnaires, and if she has a problem with somebody being missing, then she should have done something. This TikTok isn't really doing anything to help find anybody, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about because she wasn't there. Anyway, we hope that this guy that's missing is found, but we did all we could do, so I don't know why this lady's mad at us. And I was like, damn, that's very like, usually it's like a boilerplate kind of response that a company would put out. But this had some zest on it that was very, who the fuck are you to be coming at us? We didn't do anything. Okay. So I did some more research, and apparently like up to 19 people a year go missing on these cruise ships, whether they fall off or whatever. People go missing on cruise ships kind of at a number that I didn't expect it to be, you know, over 10, under 20. What are your thoughts on cruise ships, the safety of them? You've been on a couple.
Yeah.
Do you think it is possible that Kevin McGrath woke up drunk in the middle of the night, fell off? Do you think this is more insidious? Like, do you think that that's like an easy thing to do? To disappear on a cruise ship?
Oh, I'm about to say to fall off a boat?
Or whether it's, but I mean, that's the only way I can think of you disappearing on a cruise ship. So, yeah. Yes.
Maybe you can wake up intoxicated and fall off. I don't know. You know, he could like, you know, being one that, you know, found his way inside the like with the machines and all the mechanics of the ship. He could have been in there or a freezer or something like that. I'm guessing they checked.
They searched. They searched the ship according to them.
Yeah, so maybe, man, just whenever I hear stories where it's like, okay, and we've done these stories where it's like, okay, somebody fell off of a balcony, or in this instance somebody fell off a boat. It's like maybe he got drunk and maybe just tripped over something and fell off, and it's like there's no cameras. They don't have no camera footage.
That's the part I don't. I would think a cruise ship would have cameras everywhere, especially on the edges of the boat, in case somebody falls off. So there's been no headway.
The only fear I have on cruise ships are obviously those sinking and pirates. That's the only pretty, you know, and it not being enough of those little small boats on the side if something does happen with this thing. Yeah, like all of us ain't making it.
It's going to be a Titanic situation.
It's just not realistic.
Yeah. Well, as a person, that's a interesting topic. How do you feel about, as a person that has kids and a wife, How do you feel about this whole women and children first? Like they should be the priority. What's up with that? Am I right?
What are you like being sarcastic or
what?
Are you being sarcastic or like?
Well, I guess I'll wait for your response to tell you.
Well, I do agree with that. Just like
me too.
Like
for sure.
in the streets, sure.
Same.
In the streets, you would go like you don't touch women and kids.
Yeah, first, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they survive. They need to survive. The women, they help reproduce this world where we are now. So it's like the kids, you let them go. Like if it was
the children
us,
of the future, man.
If it was us,
sure.
nah, my kids and my wife on the boat first. And if I don't make it, then that's
Uh-huh.
I'll know they safe.
For sure. And that's what I was saying. So like obviously if it's not enough boats, then it's not enough boats. So whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's
swim.
what I was
You know how to swim, don't you?
that's...
You fucking scuba dive and shit, you gonna be bragging.
What?
Yeah, you snorkel, don't you? You swim.
I swim from time to time. Yeah, I've never bragged about being able to swim. You take things very personal, man. Listen, I learned how to swim.
What do you mean I take it personal?
Why are you I scuba dive. I don't scuba dive.
You snorkel?
Snorkeling is just
and you brag about it. So
once
if a ship go down, I'll be like, no, motherfucker.
Go ahead and jump
you snorkel. Yeah.
I'll take your spot. You swim.
Yeah, you swim.
That's how you feel?
Yep.
Listen, that's
fine.
fine.
We see you when we get there. Call you a bitch and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why the boat's like vrooming away from me. That's crazy.
Got a little horn on it.
Yeah. And I can't see land at all. And all I got is some flippers and a snorkel. Yeah. No, it's at nighttime too? No, you're just leaving me to die, man. That's cold-blooded. Obviously, prayers to Kevin McGrath. I hope that he is found safely. But obviously, being lost at sea doesn't bode well. That's always that's a tough scenario. But I just think it's so crazy that you could go on a cruise ship and just turn up missing, and the cruise ship hasn't turned up any surveillance footage or anything to aid, as far as my knowledge from me doing a quick little cursory search.
Yeah.
But
what was this? What line was this? Carnival.
I
mean, it's not the best.
They seem like they have cameras, but they're not like they're not plugged in.
They don't work.
Like, they're just to scare people.
It's not the Norwegian. It's not like the best lines. It's like they may have cobwebs in front of their cameras.
Yeah, no shade to Carnival, but a little bit of shade to Carnival. You definitely give off big. Yeah. The cameras are set up, but not plugged in energy.
And if your personnel is like your social media personnel is like coming back sassy with some sass. I don't know. That should tell you a lot. It's like, somebody's missing, and you're like, come back with some
clapping
attitude?
back. Yeah, well, are you clapping back at somebody because they're mad that a person went missing on your ship? You're like, well, first of all, I didn't know that this was a conversation to be had by people who don't know what they're talking about. I was like, dang, this is a very sassy. Why are you clapping back like this? But yeah, obviously, again, prayers to Kevin McGrath, man. I hope that his family is able to get the closure that they need, and I'm optimistic that hopefully they find him. And it was a mix-up of some kind. But now, pushing Kevin McCarthy aside, this did get my wheels spinning in my brain, and I thought of a crazy Jordan Peele movie scenario type of thing. You take 12 Years a Slave and Get Out, right? Cruise lines. What do you do on cruise lines? You dock places and you show off your athletic prowess at times. You go zip lining. You dance. You do the what is that? Limbo. Like, you're walking around shirtless. What if a movie came out where people go on a cruise line and then they're secretly being watched, like how in Get Out, they were, that girl comes and, brings you to the family, and it like is a meeting the family type of thing. But really, she picked you because you've shown something, demonstrated something. They want your body. Mm-hmm. Now you're on a cruise ship. They take you out of your room and put you below the deck. They take you to an island, slavery, like a secret slave island somewhere. And you go disappear off the cruise ship in the middle of the night. Nobody can find you, but they just chalk it up to you got left in the Dominican Republic or whatever, or you left, they just didn't account for you. But secretly, you've been snatched by this evil cruise line, taken to an island that they've, they scoped you out. They're like, this guy's in good shape. This lady's in good shape. We could use them for manual labor. You're on a boat, so the visual of chattel slavery. Then they take you to an island, a billionaire type of island situation where you're making, I don't know, chips for iPhones or whatever type of product in slavery because you tried to go on a cruise ship. That's where my brain went. What are your thoughts on that movie? Would you go see that?
So the cruise ship.
They trick you. It's like, it's a cheap cruise. Okay. They make you think it's going to be a good deal.
We're scouting for like very buff,
in shape, young backs. to, take to our slave island.
Yeah.
And then
So-
put that Jordan Peele Get Out spin on it. So it's like a horror movie.
Would I go see it?
Yeah.
If you're making it?
Well, I mean, and a crew of people that I trust to get my vision out.
Okay. Is this an all-black cast?
Oh, of course. It's going to be very Jordan Peele inspired. I'm a Jordan Peele baby.
Okay.
So, but my question to you is now, obviously you would support me as a friend, so let's take me out of it. Would you go see the movie I just pitched to you, directed by Director X, you don't even know who it is,
Okay.
or would you go see, it's Halloween time, or would you go see Boo, A Madea Halloween?
I wouldn't go see Boo or Madea Halloween.
By default. Okay,
it's
so take
clearly by
default out of it, because who the fuck, why would you go see that movie? But, shout out to Boo and Madea Halloween. But what do you think of that movie concept, though? That sounds kind of like fun and interesting, right?
Yeah, I get
A little spooky, but a little real.
I like
a little
the
spooky,
premise.
little real.
I like the premise.
Yeah, a little spooky,
I don't
little
know
real.
about the keeping them below deck though. How does that?
Well, they snatch him. Well, I don't know. You got to keep him somewhere, a secret door, passageway type of situation, so the ship docks and lets people off, because they only select a few.
Got you.
So you're not down there by yourself. You're down there with like 7 other people that they picked for this cruise.
Okay. I like it.
Right? I thought that was interesting. Obviously, we don't have this budget, probably somewhere around like 65 million.
Yeah.
So I don't see me getting that budget to make it, but I just like to put out the intellectual property out there to people. Maybe somebody can take that and turn it into something better. Take my rough concept and turn it into something that people would like. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas.
It has a high floor, low ceiling. I don't see it like breaking box office, but
All right. Wow. That was
I don't
really
see- I don't
harsh
see it-
and
I don't see
specific
it tank-
critique that you just
I don't
gave.
see it tanking though.
I see it being okay in the box office. In the box office? Is that what we're doing? We're having box office discussions right now? Damn, man. That was a really honest critique of my...
I see you break even.
Breaking even?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see you making the studio its money back. No sequel, though.
Yeah.
They won't trust it enough to greenlight the sequel, but, I think that you make the studio its money back and you guys chalk it up to a rough W.
Yeah.
And maybe it becomes a cult classic in like 5 years. Like people they rediscover it on Netflix and then they love it.
That's where you make your money.
Yeah, for sure. On the back end. Yeah, that movie's great on Netflix. That's what happened with Suits.
Suits. I heard that was good, man.
Yeah, but Suits came out like a decade ago.
Did it?
Yeah, it was on USA. Nobody was watching Suits. Meghan
the
Markle
same
becomes
show,
a princess.
Or they just.
No, it's the same show. It's reruns. It's already happened.
Oh.
Unless, let me take that back. The first seasons of Suits, Meghan Markle was on it, the princess.
Okay.
Then she, the show, she left the show or whatever and became Meghan Markle, the princess. My theory is, again, I haven't watched it on Netflix, but I watched a couple episodes of Suits back in like 2011. But now Netflix acquired it and it's blown up.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Suits reboot or whatever, new season of Suits, or if they did. But I don't think they did. I think these are just reruns of Suits. I don't think they did a new season of Suits. I could be wrong if somebody loves Suits.
This was all new. I thought this was a whole new.
Then I could be wrong. But the Suits, the show was already came out.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle was in it.
I do got a recommendation we could talk about. I want you to. I'll tell you about this movie I watched. Me and Steph watched. I want to get your.
Go for it.
Right now, I was gonna do it later at the recommendation.
You can save it to then. You want to save it to then?
I'll save it to then. Yeah, so we can get to.
All right, save it to then. All right, well then, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into some fucked up shit. So stick around. Affirmative Murder is sponsored by BetterHelp. I am a textbook overthinker. Bills, relationship issues, family problems, and a multitude of scenarios that I make up have kept me up later than I've wanted to be, more times than I can count in my life. These thoughts have led to anxiety-filled mornings, midday heart flutters, and tons of dreams where my teeth fall out in them, which according to many psychology books, is a sign of stress and anxiety. Well, it turns out one great way to get those racing thoughts to stop is to talk through them. And therapy gives you a safe place to do just that. So you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. In my interactions with therapy, I've found them to be very beneficial, especially the part where you're sitting down and unloading on a complete stranger who has no real investment on telling you what you want to hear. And then being able to leave that space and leave everything you just dumped behind, which is a benefit that is not often afforded with friends and family members. It's also helpful to speak with somebody with a vast world of knowledge in coping skills and setting boundaries that empower you to be the best version of yourself. So if you've been thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/A, M as in Martha, P.com today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/AMP. All right, and we are back. Fran, are you prepared to get into our affirmative murder this week?
Yeah, man, this story was very, very compelling story. I was very excited. I'm like, oh, okay, I never heard this. And then I didn't know where it was going.
Mm-hmm.
It puts you on that, like, you go like, wait, oh, hold up. He might, we'll get into it, but you still start to like jump on both sides a little bit in the beginning.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So our affirmative murder this week is the story of Carlos Hallowell and Denise Hallowell. So let's go ahead and jump in. So Denise Hallowell was a devoted teacher living in Marin County, Florida. And although her life appeared to be fulfilling in many ways, she felt that something in her life was missing. And having been adopted as a child herself, she decided to take on the responsibility of being a mother to a child in need. And in 2006, Denise adopted 4-year-old Carlos from Guatemala. Although by many counts, Carlos grew up a happy kid and was afforded everything he needed and beyond, he turned to alcohol and drugs at the age of 11, showing early signs of antisocial personality disorder that would only heighten in his adolescence. He experimented with a wide range of narcotics, including marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, and prescription pills. All by the time he was like 15 years old, he had already dabbled in these things. But that's Florida.
Is it?
Florida's off the hook, man.
It's the Wild Wild West.
It's the dirty South. Like it really is. Like there's alligators and shit and poisonous snakes. It's just a crazy place. Drugs everywhere, strip clubs. Florida is its own type of cesspool ecosystem. Bath salts. That whole story came out of Florida. Yeah, and everything, and because it's a port type of state, a lot of it's connected to water. You get stuff coming in on boats. All the new shit kind of hits Florida first. The new drugs, the new guns, like they get everything fresh off the boat, as you've heard probably in a lyric in many of Rick Ross songs.
Shout out to Rick Ross, one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, great businessman. Many chicken wing stops. Yeah. Chicken wing stops? Many wing stops. Chicken wing stops. That's the full name when you want to be proper. Pinkies out. I want to go to can I go to a chicken wing stop, please? So fast forward a decade to July 13, 2019. And after Denise and Carlos attended a funeral of a family friend, they returned home, and according to Carlos, the two retired to their individual rooms for the evening to nap and unwind. Mm-hmm. Later in the night, Florida police received an emergency call requesting assistance at Denise's home. First responders arrived on the scene to find Denise Hallowell lying in her bed, barely breathing. Emergency response did what they could, but weren't able to move Denise because there was an axe lodged in the side of her head.
Yeah. Within
minutes, Denise was gone. Although it was pretty evident, an autopsy later determined that the axe wounds were what caused her death.
Yeah.
And it was ruled a homicide.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I express my gratitude for first responders, because to show up at a scene and to see something like that and have to still perform
and be composed.
It's like, you have to applaud that. I mean, you have to.
Oh, for sure.
Applaud that, and then you have to, you gotta keep everybody. You gotta keep the, the family members and stuff like. It's like us just to do all that.
Keep the victim calm.
Do your job, and also to move on to the next one or to go home with that. Mm-hmm. It's just like that's rough.
I think anybody in the medical profession, especially emergency response, ER workers, you have to have your brain has to be wired differently.
Yeah.
Because in that situation, Denise Hallowell, they show up, she's still alive. So you have to try to calm a person down who has an axe lodged in the side of their head and try to administer whatever help you can while seeing something so traumatic and gruesome.
Yeah.
I think that also, and there are bad ones of this, but I understand it as I've, kind of looked into it and I watched a YouTube video from emergency responders. Not emergency responders, the phone. What are the phone people called? Halle Berry has played one in like 5 movies. The dispatcher. The dispatcher.
Dispatcher. Yep. Dispatcher.
Right. Sometimes they sound short or rude, but the way that they speak to people on those phones is to try to calm them down or get them to focus because they need the information that they need to get emergency responders to them. So you could be on the phone with them. You're screaming, "I've been shot. My wife has been stabbed. There's a burglar in the house." And they're like, ma'am, okay, calm down. What is your address? And if you're listening to it, it might sound like, why are you being so short and mean or whatever? But they're like, I can't react. I can't go, "Oh my God, I can't be like that.
Yeah.
I need to be matter of fact, straight to the line. Hey, listen, okay, I get it. What is your birthday? I hope they're not asking that question, but like, what's your address? How many people are there? What's your wife's name? They need this information, and they can't get caught up in the emotions of the moment.
Right.
Even though it's the most scary moment for you, it can't be for them because they need to be composed to do their job.
Yeah, they can't be emotionally attached to those situations.
Exactly. So obviously being in the room and there's a person with an axe in their head is different, but I think anybody in that field
Which is something I can't do. If somebody's calling me screaming, I was like, my
anxiety is going to go
yes.
up. So yeah, obviously, yeah, let's take a moment and salute anybody who's in the emergency response field, paramedic workers, all those things, because I can't. If I show up and you got a piece of crowbar coming through your arm, I'm going to faint.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of the situation. Like, I'm no use to you. I could have all the knowledge in the world. Like, I read all the books. I have the certificates and the degrees. But if I roll up on you and there's a piece of rebar going from one of your ears through the other ear, like you have a Halloween costume on, I'm going to pass out. So I'm not wired for that. I get weak-kneed and queasy at the sight of blood. So anyway, while Carlos claimed to be napping at the time of his mother's murder, there were no visible signs of forced entry into the home, which pointed police to believe that it was an inside job. While investigating possible suspects in her murder, police learned of the first time Denise Hallowell made headlines, which was in September of 2015. It was discovered that not long after adopting Carlos, Denise adopted a young boy from Honduras named Angel.
Angel.
Not because she... Angel.
Yeah.
Angel, not Angel. Not because she wanted another child, but because she felt it was important for Carlos to have another sibling, which is an important distinction.
When I heard that, I went like, I hear that a lot from people. They go like, I want my kid to have a sibling.
They're like, but do you want the kid?
Do you want the kid? It's like, have the kid, and them being a sibling is just automatic. Have a kid because you want to have the kid.
Because you got to take care of that other kid.
Yeah, don't have a kid because they have a brother.
So my kid that I like, the kid that I like and wanted to have is alone.
I don't like
so
that.
I want them to have something to play with.
Yeah, it's not a dog.
That's not a reason to have a second kid. Get him a dog. Get him a dog. That is a fine option to that, especially if you're going to treat the second kid like a dog, essentially.
Yeah.
So in 2015, Denise's youngest son ran away from home, prompting her to call the police. When officers arrived at the Hallowell home, they were shocked at what they saw. The Citrus County Sheriff's Office said Angel Hallowell was said to be being kept in a small room with the door bolted from the outside and the windows nailed shut. Deputies say he was malnourished and given a bucket to use as a bathroom. The deputies, they saw this firsthand when they went to go, follow up on the missing persons report. So this is not a rumor. They saw this.
At first I thought it was a rumor. I thought I'm like, this can't be true. You have one child living in inhumane conditions and the other one is spoiled and, living a good life. I'm like, this can't be. This can't be real.
Well, let me make a distinction because, I'm going to, spoiler alert, she was not found guilty on charges of the accusations that were made. So I would imagine that perhaps the using a bucket as a bathroom came from Angel. But the room size, the nails bolted on the door and the window, those are all true things.
But she said there was a bucket in the room, but the bucket was only because if he didn't make it to the bathroom.
Got it. Okay. So do you think this is spin, or do you think that it's just a bunch of coincidences that sound bad when you just walk in on it?
I
would not give my kid a bucket if they have a weak bladder or sometimes they wet the bed at night. I wouldn't get them a bucket.
I think the conditions were true. I don't think it was that excessive. I don't think it was that bad.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think
maybe it was like there was like
What I'm saying to you is, do you think the bucket was punishment or really
No, I think that's
if you don't make it to the bathroom and it just looks bad?
But yes, it looks bad. a bucket to use the bathroom.
But you don't think it was like, you can't come out of your room tonight, pee in this bucket all night?
No, I don't think it was like that. I don't think it was like
Okay.
that. Maybe he embellished that story a little bit. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
like, he doesn't want to be there. He hates it. So, like, why
Yeah.
not? But it's like, I think the
It was
bucket,
the-
it just looks bad. And she slept, and he had a issue with running away. He was,
Mm-hmm.
and she slept in front of his door to make sure he didn't run away. So it's kind of like, maybe this is true. And then the only reason why she wasn't charged, because, the charges were dropped.
Yeah, there was not enough evidence to charge her
She
with
had
something.
Fucking Johnny Cochran
So
on her team.
So obviously, however it looked out of the gates, once there was research done, they didn't find enough cause to bring her up on charges or find her guilty of anything.
Yeah. So she only.
So I guess everything could be explained away.
Yeah.
But Angel did show signs of having some behavioral disorders and some tendencies to maybe act out for attention.
Yes.
So that might have played a role in some of the things that he did and maybe said. While Angel eventually returned home, Denise was removed from the home in handcuffs and brought to the county jail, and she lost custody of both her kids for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
When the news broke, her mugshot appeared in the local papers in the town of Inverness. Never heard of it, never been there, never probably will go. But shout out to Inverness, Florida. The local school system told her that she would not be able to return to her students.
Mm-hmm.
So this really shook up her life. It ended a lot of things that she had going for her and was a real shock to the community and their family. Carlos came out and defended his mother, vehemently challenging the accusations made against her. And her attorneys argued that while keeping a child locked in a tiny enclosed area may seem extreme or malicious, Denise had consulted with doctors and her local pastor about Angel's behavior and his emotional issues, and came up with a strategy of isolation and removing stimulation from his room when nothing else seemed to be working. So what they came across was like a person who was on their last leg, had been dealing with a child with behavioral problems and decided to bolt them in their room at night so they can't run away. And whether the size of the room, I don't really know if that was like a decision made to put him in a smaller room, but he was in a small room that she bolted in and secured to make her able to access it how she wanted to. But what they came across was this was, the 10th time that he had done something, that would be deemed a behavioral issue.
Yeah.
And they came across a solution that, people could deem to be whatever it is, but this was after talking to people that she trusted and felt were professionals, and they came up with the solution of isolating him and kind of taking away things that could stimulate him to, act erratically. Mm-hmm. So however you feel about that, I don't know, but, it sounds like, she wasn't just moving on her own accord. She was taking guidance. Whether it was misguided guidance or not is a different story, but she wasn't doing this in secrecy. And then they came upon her in the night, and the Turpins in California, all those people that had the haircut like Coconut Head.
Yeah.
They had like 12 kids wearing Thing 1 and Thing 2 shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, the police just did a wellness check, and then so they caught them with their pants down.
Yeah.
With chains on the bed and all this shit. But that's not what this was. This lady's like, people knew I was doing this because I was consulting with people. Right. I wasn't doing this secretly and abusing him in the darkness of our home. This was like advice, kind of. I don't know if that makes that better to you. I don't really know.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's. You're still like locking a kid into a room.
You can't treat a kid like an animal and that's bad for an animal. You can't just have him locked in the chain and then like fucking put him on food on a plate and on a dish and slide it under the door and fucking.
Yeah, no, it's unacceptable. For sure.
Doesn't matter what the kid is, how bad he is, and this being disobedient. You can't. Come on now.
He needs therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs help.
He needs help. Denise would eventually be cleared of any wrongdoing in the case. She would then go on to sign away her legal custody rights to Angel and subsequently attempted to move on with her life together with her adopted son, Carlos. They moved into a house kind of further into the woods and
crazy.
Isolated. What, that she got her son back or that she signed him away?
Sign him off and just
just give up?
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
fuck this.
Gotta move on.
Yeah, this kid's a little too much. I'm going to keep the good one and kick rocks. Yeah. You can have him back especially because you moved him here from another country.
Exactly.
So that's crazy.
It's like you just gave up way too easy. It's like, that's wild.
Yeah, and now he's a ward of the state. He doesn't get sent back to Honduras. He is now a citizen here, and he was sent to a group home where apparently he faced conditions similar or worse to the conditions that he faced in Denise's home.
Yep.
So you gave up on him, and then you didn't even at least find him a better situation. which is, I think that, I don't know how, I think it's a lot harder to adopt kids today, obviously. I think that, the system has self-corrected in ways, but the idea that you could adopt a kid from another country, bring them over here, and then just change your mind. I think it's crazy to be able to change your mind in adoption, period.
At all. Like, and just in general, you can't. That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, but this was just harder than I thought it was going to be, so I never mind. So I think that there's something wrong with that, and if you really have a desire to adopt and raise children, it's not something that's. I think that we are a society. That's what makes society so dangerous today, is because TikTok and all these things, everything looks perfect. Yeah. So you can watch somebody raise kids, and they only show you the good moments where they're baking a cake together, and they take the batter out of the bowl and put it on the other kid's nose, and the kids. But they don't show you when the kid doesn't want to bake, and they throw the tantrum, and they flip the bowl over, and now it's cake batter all over the cabinets and the floor, and then you're upset, but you can't kirk out because it's a kid, so you got to be calm. And then when they get mad and they don't want to cook anymore, they jump off the stool, and then when they jump off the stool, they land on your foot, and now your foot hurts because they stomped on your foot by accident. But they don't show you that part. Everything's just the cute moments. Yeah. So then you go, oh, I want a kid. Yeah.
Or people just enjoy the adolescent when they're toddlers and stuff like that, when they're kids. Then when they become, teenagers and fucking, they get all these mood swings, and they growing into,
it's not fun anymore.
Into themselves. And it's like, yeah, it's not. There's all the cute stuff that kind of dies. That kind of goes away, as the children get older. Like when you're babies, like they're relying on you 100%, and all that is cute. And it's like then when they get older, it's kind of like when you have a puppy. People like puppies.
Yeah, so people adopt puppies. Nobody adopts dogs.
Right.
Obviously some people do adopt dogs, but overwhelmingly when you go to a shelter, everybody's adopting the puppy.
You get the puppy because it's cute.
Yeah.
Cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like.
And I think you can speak obviously you can speak from personal experience, but having kids and raising kids is not. Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's frustrating and infuriating. Yeah. It's not all just like the joy and it's fun and happiness. It's a litany of emotions.
Yes.
Up and down.
And you just got to deal with those, and you can't. But it's for people that love their children, that's just you deal with that. But when you go, oh, I can't. This is too much. He want to fucking play. Yeah. He want to play all the time. I don't want to watch TV. It's like
it's not an option.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
And that's not to take anything, because obviously there are people who adopt kids and those kids become their kids. Yeah. But if you're not doing it for altruistic reasons, if you're doing it because you're looking for something to satisfy you want an accessory, you want a whatever, it never is like it can never be your kid, because it's always this selfish thing. Yeah. You're not doing it to raise a kid. So it's easy to go, this isn't fun like I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I've seen people do it with dogs. Yeah. And it's very much the same. It's the same mentality of somebody who wants a kid for their own reasons. They should just get a dog. Right. Because obviously a dog needs you, but a dog is like your accessory. It's cute and it's fun and it's a companion and it gives you all the things you need. A dog is only good to you. Mm-hmm. Obviously if they pee in the house or whatever, there's like headaches that dogs have, but a dog is there to love you and cuddle you. Dogs don't take your love for granted. They don't show appreciation for things. The things that kids can do to make you infuriated. Right. Like a dog is only there to give you love. So if you want a companion, but you don't understand the concept of, it's not about me, I have something I want to give to somebody else. Yeah. If that's not a concept you understand, you should get a dog and don't get a kid. Yep. And it seems like Denise Halliwell, which I'll get into, it seems like she did exactly that. But the first kid, she saw something in that made her pour into him. And the second kid didn't do exactly what she wanted him to do. Exactly. Or she never wanted him.
That's what
or,
it is. What's easy.
Or she wanted a sibling, because she went into it wanting a sibling for Carlos, she already had her kid that she wanted.
Yeah, it became an inconvenience.
When you're not perfect, you're a problem immediately. Yeah. Because I didn't get you because I wanted two kids. I got you because I wanted the kid I wanted to have a friend. So like I said, Denise moved on with Carlos, and they went on to just be the two of them once again. And although a scorned adopted son casted away by his family makes for a great murder suspect, the truth behind Denise's murder would be revealed just days after officers arrived at the Halliwell home that night. Because Carlos was the only other person in the home when the police arrived to the scene, cops naturally decided to question him. The 17-year-old claimed he had nothing to do with the murder, asserting that he had slept through the killing only to be woken up by their dogs barking at some point in the night. This story quickly fell apart through the course of an interrogation. During questioning, Carlos alluded to a time where he was living away from home because he and his mother were having some problems. And he stayed with a couple who recorded some conversations Denise had with them when she would come over to visit Carlos during his time away from home. I actually have a clip of that just to give people kind of an understanding of the dynamics of their relationship and how they interact.
Denise came over multiple times to have sit-down conversations that led to arguments, some of which were recorded by Stephanie, the woman Carlos was staying with when he left Denise's house.
When you know he doesn't have a job, why are you asking
He has
for
a job. He told me he has a job with you guys.
Okay,
He says he's
before
gone
that
all the
he
time
didn't.
working.
And you were harassing.
He
How
said
much
he's
was
gone-
she originally saying you
He's
owed?
gone
Like $600
all
or
the time
something?
working.
Well, we have to come up with. Now I got to come up with.
So just to be clear, the person in this clip who's yelling is Denise. Stephanie is one of the people involved in the marriage of the couple that Carlos moved in with at the time when him and Denise were arguing, but or not on good terms, or however they want to explain it. But the person in this video who's yelling is Denise.
Breaks paying for something.
No.
Why is that my fault?
Shut up!
Why is he paying for
Shut
breaks?
up and I'll
Then you have
answer.
all this money.
Shut up!
You bragging.
What did I tell you today?
I don't know. You said pay a phone bill, and then you're gonna charge.
Why does he have to pay a phone bill?
Because it's
He's
his
a
phone.
child.
There you go. She sees you as a child. All you scream and want to be seen as an adult.
No, I
No,
said I
he
want to
says
be
he's a
treated.
child.
I said I want to be treated as
Teenager.
my age.
You're the
Sorry.
one that keeps calling him an adult.
I recorded you. They've heard you
So
talk.
we got you now.
Right.
You barged into their house. They've
So?
seen you talk, and now Stephanie's seeing how you talk to me.
No, I don't care.
So what are your thoughts on that piece of audio that I just played?
I think that it's funny because when somebody goes like, hey, this person treats me this way, and like nobody may not believe him, or tell somebody else, so he gets somebody else to see like, oh, look, this is the shit I deal with in this house and how she talks to me, how she treats me. And then now you guys can see what I go through and why I do the things I do and done the things I've done, because look how she talks to me. She talks to me like, what I'm saying like it's constantly about money. It's like, I'm fucking 17 years old and like, what did we like? Is this, well, there was a part where I don't know if you can play this. Are you playing another clip or not?
I wasn't.
Okay,
but,
well, there was a part where it was like, she was like, what else does he need to help you pay? Like, she was like, oh, we need a fence a new fence on the property. She was like, what is a child how is he gonna help you pay for a fence?
I'm 16
on a property. I mean, like, what do
Yeah.
you expect from him?
This is one of those situations where when we were talking about like her wanting kids for her own reasons, this is one of those situations where because she never wanted kids for altruistic reasons, she doesn't have that belief that, this kid didn't ask to be here. It's my responsibility to try to give them the best life that they can unconditionally. They don't need to earn things from me that I'm supposed to give them. Yeah. So if you're in this house, you're supposed to help me almost like a spouse or like a husband. Like we live together. Exactly. This is like why aren't you helping my life?
Yeah. It's like he didn't ask to be born, and he definitely didn't ask to
be brought to the
adopt him to be here, to be treated like how he's being treated, like you guys are dating or something, like he's your boyfriend. It's like he's a child. You take care, like you figure that shit out as an adult. Exactly.
It's your responsibility to teach a kid responsibilities, have him have a job, have him pay for his own things, but a fence? Like, come on, man.
If my dad
asked
me for that, I'd have been like,
a fence?
Negro, man, what I'm gonna do? I don't got no money for that.
I don't have fence money. I can barely afford to put gas in my car with the job I'm in.
Right.
I make $30 a day. A fence?
But I'm past due on my phone bill. What are you talking about a fence?
Come on. Like, this is crazy. So, it just, it obviously, we're talking about a kid who's now sitting in an interrogation room. His mother's been murdered. He is admittedly, I will say, he's sitting there painting a picture that nothing. He's saying that, I have some anger problems. Me and my mom have gone through things in the past, but on this day specifically, I fell asleep. We had a great day, but nothing bad happened. But now we're starting to see the picture be painted of what life is like for them behind closed doors. And that doesn't bode well for Carlos. So detectives also revealed to Carlos that Denise had a number of cameras on the property, and the footage along with a cell phone data map contradicted his account of how the night went. During the time that Carlos claimed that he was asleep, cell phone records showed that his phone never stopped being active during the window of time that he says he was asleep, meaning that either he wasn't actually asleep or someone there in the house was using his phone. But cameras show no third person at the home. This was a piece of information that I never had even thought of but police having before.
This is where this is the forensic shit. Is where I'm like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So basically, what they were able to map out, one, Denise was a very reclusive and cautious person, so she had cameras all over the property. But Carlos's phone itself, when you're on your phone, it keeps track of when you open apps, close apps,
charge it,
take
charger out,
swipe it on, swipe it off. So he told the police that he slept through his mom's death, essentially, and that he was, taking a nap or whatever. But the police tell him during their interrogation, but it was really like they treated it like it was an interview. He wasn't handcuffed to the table. He wasn't. He wasn't like in custody. He kind of came down of his own volition. But they told him when he said that, I was asleep. I don't even remember. I just kind of woke up and the dogs woke me up. But they go to him. Well, your phone never stopped being active. It was scrolling through things. It was active the whole time. It wasn't just like. And then he thought he was smart too. If anybody, the entire interrogation's on YouTube, and he went back. He served back at them like, well, was it on like one thing? Because I was watching something. Because I think he thought, oh, it can't be that detailed. I'll just tell them, yeah, it was active because it was on an app that I was on YouTube and I fell asleep. They're like, no, it was on YouTube. Then YouTube closed out and you opened up your bank, looked at your bank statement. Then you closed that out. You played some Candy Crush, closed that out. It was moving. Yeah. And he didn't have a response to that.
Right. And then the whole camera situation, he was asking about the cameras. He was like, I believe he said he knew of one. Work.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, they didn't work. And then when they went back onto the property, they found the spots where cameras would sit, and there's dust. There's spots where the camera would sit, but it's dust around where the camera
where it was placed.
Man, I go like, that's crazy. Then they found cords of being unplugged. Coincidentally, they're unplugged, they're removed, they don't work. It's like, oh man, but when they found where the cameras would be, a spot that was dust collected, but the spot where the camera wasn't
clean.
Any dust. Oh man.
So by the time they come to him, they already know everything that they know. So they're asking you bait questions. So when they ask him, do you know about cameras? And he goes, no, I didn't know about any cameras. They already know that there were cameras there. And then they go, well, didn't you say that you got in trouble because your mom caught you on camera? He goes, oh, okay, then there was one. Yeah. And then they go, are you sure it was only just one? And he goes, yes. They kept getting him to double down on things, and then he would contradict himself immediately. So then he has to go, oh, okay, no, there was another camera. I do remember there were two cameras. Yeah. So they just kept catching him in lies, and the story continued to break down, which wasn't a good story to begin with. But
no,
they in the course of a very lenient and relaxed investigation and interrogation and discuss. Really, it wasn't even an interrogation. It was not intense. They just talked holes into his story very calmly. There's a thing we were talking about last week where they're just going to keep asking you the same question.
Yeah.
And you're never going to remember the thing you said the first time. You just never are. You're going to mess up in some kind of way.
Hole. You'll keep digging that hole.
And once you start to feel that they're onto you, now you start volunteering information that you don't need to be giving.
Yeah.
He was talking about pies and we were having a good day. As a matter of fact, we celebrated because we didn't argue all day. So we went to get pie for celebration. I was like, well, why do you keep reiterating that you guys had such a good day?
Yeah.
That there was
when they get super defensive and kind of talking down on the detectives, like detectives don't know, like they're idiots and don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man, why are you getting sassy with me? Because your story doesn't make any sense.
Were you walking around the house with the axe? Yeah. No, I left it in the garage. Well, we have you on camera walking around the house with the axe. Well, I didn't, so
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Aren't you detectives once you figured that out? Like, all right, man. Okay.
You got it, man. Hey, man, you're the one on camera walking around your dead mother's house with an axe in your hand, and she has an axe in her head, and we're asking you, were you on camera with an axe? And we are asking you, it's a rhetorical question. We saw you. And now you're saying...
we know the answer.
So like I said, the data map is, contradicting that he was asleep the whole time. And during the time that Carlos claimed that he was asleep, GPS locating also revealed that Carlos walked down to a lake near the house, something Carlos swore up and down that he did not do. He had said, I never went down there, all these things. Everything that they know, he said he didn't do, and then they come to him with evidence and facts and data. So Carlos swore up and down that he didn't go down to the lake, but Denise's phone was later recovered from that lake. Yep. And Carlos's GPS on his phone shows that he went down to the lake.
Yeah, her last ping on her phone was at the lake, and then his one of his locations that he went with his phone was at the lake.
Yes. So he went down to the lake with her phone and had his phone in his pocket.
Yeah.
So he knows nothing about. He's never watched Forensic Files ever in his life, you know. So his story continues to fall apart. The detectives even pulled the phone recovered from the dive team, as well as 3 cameras from the house, also found at the lake behind the house, out of an evidence box in front of Carlos. And this rattled him in a way where he already was super rattled, but this one he had to like start trying to come up with a reason to why this is what happened, and said that, I panicked, and when I saw the body, I just started grabbing stuff and I just threw it in the lake, which is like,
well,
what?
What I think, this is, tell me if you agree with this. I think when they attackers do this, when they go to try to get rid of evidence or throw it in lakes and trash, I think they have the idea where detectives are going to go like, us getting a team and diving into a lake is too much.
Nobody who ever looked in this lake.
They're not. That's so much work that they're not going to dive into a lake and whatever, or go to the city dumpster yard and dig through the trash.
Well, it's dismissive of your victim. You're like, I don't give a shit about this person. I killed them. Nobody gives a shit about this person. They're not gonna. This isn't the president's daughter.
They're not going to go to the extent to try to solve this crime, and they go like, this should be whatever I'm about to do with this. It should be. I should be able to get away.
This is plenty. This is plenty of work.
Yeah.
I think he thought it was a brilliant thing to do because of what you just said. Because he goes,
yeah.
What are they going to get divers to go dive into? Yep.
That's exactly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Huh? The ping says the last place you stood with her phone was at this lake. You think we're going to go down to where the last place that her phone was and was like, well, I guess he threw it in this water. Maybe. Yeah. We'll never know. No, they're going to get a dive team and go down and go find the phone.
They don't get that.
Yeah. So like I said, when they pulled the evidence box out from the dive team and pulled the cameras out in evidence bags and her cell phone out in evidence bags and put all the stuff in front of Carlos, it had him floundering. Now, keep in mind, at this time, Carlos is 17 years old with no representation in the room, which I don't really know how I feel about, but it's becoming more and more apparent that he is guilty. So I guess it cancels out, but this is a child basically being interrogated without any representation in the room. So he's at a real disadvantage. He's kind of fending for himself, and he's a kid dealing with 2 adults who are seasoned at this. So I don't really know if that's fair, but how do you feel? Am I off base, or what do you think?
Is it fair that he's not represented, or?
Yeah, that they're talking to him with. His only legal guardian is dead, and he doesn't have a lawyer.
You got it. Well, you got to know your rights, don't you? You got to be like.
Would you want somebody to say that? Would you want somebody to say that to Max?
What?
You gotta know your rights.
But they tell you that though. That's
but he's a kid.
They tell you. All right, but if they have tons of evidence,
and I don't know if they tell him that because he wasn't like in custody. They kind of brought him down there casually, so they might have slipped it in that if you don't want to talk, you can leave or whatever. They might have said it so like quick. The little tricks they do. They might have said it so quick and whatever.
So what if you're the detective and you're trying to solve this case? I don't understand how that's advantageous for you to be like.
Oh, of course it's advantageous. Listen,
right? That's
of course.
But you can't be like, oh, you're going Max is like, all right, well, if I'm obviously not, but if I'm the detective, I'm not going to find a way to ruin this case. That's just the reality of it.
Right. If I can get him to talk.
If I can get him to talk, then we just going to keep talking until he figures out. Where he goes, he don't want to talk anymore. Then fine, we'll deal with that. But if he's going to talk, and we just going to be talking casually, he's saying he's not under arrest. We just having a conversation, and he's asking him questions, and
he's digging his own grave while he's talking.
Yeah, it's like, what do you expect for the detective to do? Do I think it's fucked up? Yes, because he's a minor. But
it's becoming more and more clear every minute that he is the guy that did it.
Yeah,
it's not like they're just wasting his time and he's innocent. It's
and
not
they're
like,
beating him and torturing him and shit like that. That's not happening. No.
Yeah. He's like, sometimes I go out there and punch a tree when I get angry. And my mom does make me angry a lot. It's like, okay, keep going.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, whoa. Hey, man, you're making yourself sound real guilty. So I would suggest you stop talking.
That's not happening.
That's not happening. Yeah, you're right. Say, hey, man, listen, I'm no genius, but you sound real guilty. So I'm going to stop.
Maybe you should stop talking. I'm going to stop the tape here because maybe this is not looking too good for you. It was like if they felt bad. Like you feel bad for him. It's like, hey man, you are digging yourself a hole.
You're making this a real open and shut case right now.
Right. I need a little bit of competition. I haven't had competition all week. Basketball games got canceled. I need this to be. I need you to.
Yeah, let me get a lawyer in here.
I
need somebody formidable because this is a
man.
slam dunk.
It's too easy, man.
I'm crossing you out, breaking your ankles. You're getting caught up on like ice cream.
blowout.
I'm asking you about McDonald's. You're saying Burger King, and we have receipts from McDonald's. You're just lying. You're not good at this. I've caught you on like 40 lies, bro. I'm gonna stop the game.
Yeah.
So, with pressure mounting and his story now in rubble, Carlos started to claim that he blacked out and didn't remember anything after waking up to dogs barking and finding his mother. So he basically is like, "There's a gap. I don't know what happened."
So I saw when I heard that, because you hear so much, I was like, let me look up. I need to look up. There has to be a stat or something that has something to do with, homicides and insomnia, something, right? And it said it claims that insomnia has been reported in the estimated range of 10 to 70% of homicides.
So it's an easy one. I blacked out. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was sleepwalking. A lot of these things they're claimed, but a lot of times they get debunked immediately.
Yeah.
They don't really hold much weight once you start questioning.
Right. But it's for people to use that. Now, I don't know. That could be a thing. People black out and don't remember.
I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it's happened.
But it's like,
it's not common.
It's not. And something so graphic. I mean, graphic. Something so graphic.
Graphic. That's
and gruesome.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's the definition. That's a new word. Something that was graphic as fuck. It was graphic and gruesome.
Like that, an axe been,
Yeah, you wouldn't just be like,
skull.
I was sleepwalking.
I fucking walked in and I walked back out and I saw my mom laying there. I was like, man, you fucking did that.
Yeah, come on,
you
man.
saw everything you did.
Yeah. So, there are probably circumstances where I could believe somebody sleepwalked into doing a crime.
Yeah.
Murder isn't one of them. During his interview, he asserted that he did remember grabbing an axe and sharpening it, but it was because he had yard work to do. There was a tree that fallen on the fence and broken it, and Denise had asked him to break up the tree with an axe. And so he remembers grabbing the axe, but it was to do that chore.
Sure.
So now, again, they keep saying like, well, we saw the axe in your hand in the video. Oh, yeah, well, I did have, he has to keep inching toward the truth. So they really have him in this box that he can't get out of. And the lies keep bringing him closer and closer to the truth because they're like, they're dulling out the evidence a little bit at a time. So every time he says no to something, they go, well, we saw you doing it. And then he has to go, yeah, okay, yeah, I did grab the axe. I was sharpening it to cut the tree down. So now we have the axe in your hand. We have the axe in the house.
Yep. We're
getting closer and closer to that bedroom. So Carlos also admitted to having temper flares. This was a point in the interrogation where I was like, all right, man, it's a wrap. Now you're admitting that you and your mom get in fights. Everybody in the neighborhood knows you have a temper and they're scared of your temper. And he's saying things like this. And I go out and punch the trees. I'm like, all they have to do is say, so what did your mom say to you that night that made you have a temper flare and you killed her? Like you're setting up the home run knock out of the park. So, but he did say that he was on antidepressants to assist him with these temper flares and that he hadn't had one in a long while. So Carlos eventually broke down and admitted that he and Denise did in fact get into an argument the day of her murder. Apparently, after Denise had recently found out Carlos was expelled from his high school months prior, he had been expelled from school for like 8 months and was just pretending to still be going to school because he didn't want to have to deal with his mom being upset with him. But then she found out about it days before her murder, and it made for her, really the way that I played in that audio clip that I played, it gone to new heights.
Yeah.
Now she's furious at him. She's calling him you're going to be a loser. You're dropping out of school. Like you're worthless. She was really, according to Carlos, really getting very vitriolic with the things she was saying, which caused for a very tense house. And that tension led up to the night of July 13, 2019, after a family friend's funeral. Carlos had allegedly expressed a desire to enroll in a technical college instead of a 4-year degree that Denise wanted. And Denise wanted because that way she can say, I have a kid that's in college and post Facebook. I mean, listen, all right, this is all alleged. I don't know Denise. I don't know her character, but based on the things that I've read in doing the research and the videos that I've watched and Carlos's expression and family friends, the couple that he lived with, their expression about Denise and how she moved and wanting to be a perfect family. I think to her, going to a technical college was for losers, and I want my son to go to a college and I can post pictures of him walking the stage when he graduates. That I want my thing that I adopted to do what I want him to do.
Yeah.
I don't even know if, I'm sure there was elements of I want what's best for you, but it's not I want what's best for you. I want what's best for what I want you to present to the world as a representation of me.
Right.
And those are two different things. Because there's nothing wrong with going to a technical school.
No.
There's nothing wrong with getting a trade and having a craft or a skill. Like, there's nothing wrong with that unless you are an elitist person. And so, that caused the fight. He wanted to go to a technical school. She wanted him to go to a 4-year school. And when she allegedly refused to entertain the idea of him going to a technical school, she even claimed that she would not pay for his school fees if he did not go to college, or maybe at all. Maybe she went, if that's what you want to do, your college fund's done. Now you don't have anything from me.
Well, she was crying about money. That's more money than him going to a 4-year college than him going to
because you don't get a free ride.
But
he's
not 18 though. He's not.
It doesn't matter. I think that was just her philosophy towards him. Like, you need to contribute. You want to be doing drugs. And then also on that, there's the tough love element of it, because this kid, keep in mind, Carlos had been getting in trouble. He was doing drugs and drinking. He would get caught sneaking girls into the house. So I think in her mind, it's like, you want to act grown, I'm going to treat you. I think it was a tough love type of thing. But I don't know. I don't know Denise. I don't know Carlos, who's telling the truth, where the truth falls somewhere in between the story that Carlos is telling and the yelling that we heard in that video.
Yeah.
Her parenting tactics are up for debate, but I don't know. But clearly they drove Carlos to a point where he said, fuck all this. Not to blame her for being murdered, but it made him mad. He didn't like it. However, the whatever the parenting technique was, he didn't like it. So, like I said, this angered Carlos, her dismissing his dream or his goals or wanting to, whatever it was in the dismissal of him going to technical school, it angered him. Carlos claimed that he went out to chop some wood using an axe. However, the rage took hold of his actions and led him to his mother's room, which the axe with the axe still in his hand. And Carlos then flew into a rage and claimed that he lost all memory of attacking and killing his mother. So at that, now the blackout has now just moved to, I got all the way to her room and then I snapped.
Yeah.
But he's now acknowledged, I had the axe, I was chopping some wood because I was angry and I was getting my frustrations out. Then I walked to her room still angry, but I had the axe in my hand. And then that part I don't remember, which is a good cop-out. To not remember the most gruesome part, to not, to try to not take full responsibility for you killing your mom in the way that you did. You go, I don't remember that part, but I do remember having.
Or maybe it's something they do when it's just like, it was like, I know what I did was bad and gruesome.
Or graphic.
Yeah, Griffin. I make my brain choose not to remember that.
It could be a trauma response. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It could be like, it could be your brain protecting you from yourself and not wanting to remember that. That's very true. Carlos Hallowell was charged with murder and pleaded not guilty to the charge. Ultimately, the court found Carlos guilty of first-degree premeditated murder,
right,
and sentenced him to life in prison in fall of 2021. Carlos Hallowell made a decision that his life would be much better off with the resources that life with Denise came with, but the overbearing hand of his mother needed to go away. So, I think that it's very true that Denise afforded him a life that he enjoyed. If you watch his interrogation footage, it's very interesting that he was able to commit this gruesome murder. But at the beginning of the interview, let's call it, the interview with police, he was able to slip into this very suburban good kid act. Of like, yeah, we went to get pie and then we went to the house and she went to have her time and I went to have my time. He really it felt like he knew how to have the facade of a upper middle class kid.
But he didn't sound like a bad kid though.
He didn't sound like a bad kid, but he is a kid that was experimenting with drugs at an early age. He was expelled from school. So I think he was a kid with behavioral issues. I don't necessarily know if that makes him a bad kid, but he had a bad temper.
No, what could drive? I mean, there are components where what's going on in the household could have drove him to those actions, though.
I don't disagree with that.
Or like, I think what is it, APD? That may have something to do with genetics. We don't know.
Sure. Who his parents were, his biological parents.
Yeah, we don't know the people he probably potentially was hanging around at the time.
Yeah.
Like friends, but like what else that was going on at home that was making him do
For
those
sure.
things.
The only pushback I would give on that is because I watched the full 2-hour interrogation, to watch him lie the way that he was lying, there's some element of, sociopathy there for me. That's not just like his mom made him mad and, because of some behavioral issues, he might have just snapped and had no control of it. It felt very much like rehearsal, planning for these questions to be asked, dumping the phone and the cameras in the lake. Like there was so much premeditation.
I'm not saying
there.
he didn't do it though.
No, I'm not saying not. I'm saying the culpability. I'm not saying you're saying he didn't do it. I'm saying that it didn't feel like this. I just snapped and lost it in the moment. It felt very much like
I agree with that.
He reached a point that he couldn't take it anymore, and then saw an opportunity to try to get rid of her. It didn't feel like a moment of a crime of passion.
Yeah, and I was saying that, but the kid was troubled though. He had a lot of shit.
I agree. For sure.
That could push him to the edge. As
he's
far as
adopted.
He's adopted. Some mental, shit he was dealing with. Bipolar disorder, and they would say he could have abandonment issues from him being from his parents back home, his biological parents, and then his coming here, and then his adoptive mom treating him the way she is and kicking him out and doing all kinds of shit. I mean, like all that.
That all is a factor. All of that has to go into the finished product of the kid.
Yeah. Obviously what he did was wrong.
Yes.
But I mean, like, it's not just so cut and dry. It's like they just had a bad relationship, and it was just like she wasn't giving him. You know what I'm saying? It was like it's way deeper than that.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to kick anybody. I don't want to kick the back end of the dead, but I don't think Denise Hallowell was equipped with the tools that she needed to raise an adopted kid, because there are some therapy has to play a role. You're gonna feel like, oh, my mom's white and I'm a kid from Guatemala. Like,
right?
Where am I from? What is my lineage? Like, do I want to be connected to that? And I don't think she was equipped for those issues. No. And I think she tried to solve those issues with like discipline and sternness.
And also like you can't be. I don't know the word for it, but you can't do stuff. Favors for people and then kind of throw it back in their face every chance you get.
It has to be unconditional. It's conditional. It's conditional love.
Okay, yeah, I just don't think that's right for you. Yeah,
it's like I bought you a car. It's like, well, I thought you bought me a car because you're my mom, not because you were gonna throw it in my face later.
Right, because she was saying that they had a quote that she said that if it wasn't for me, you would be standing at the border with those other idiots.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Trying to get in the country, and it's like you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. For one, that's racist, and like saying that to get under somebody's skin every time you're upset with them is that's fucked up. You can't.
Yeah. And let's just go ahead and say that's alleged. Like I didn't hear.
I'm saying this is what I heard.
That's a crazy thing to say in the heat of the moment.
This is what I heard in the video. I'm saying that again that's alleged. So we don't know if it's true or not. But
because that's
evil.
That's like evil.
But from the shit we've heard, I mean, it's not far off. It's like this. You can't go like, no way she said that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure that she felt very righteous in the good deed that she did.
Right. That's saying, but
it's not to be praised about this kid's whole life. At this point, he's supposed to just be your kid. You shouldn't even be bringing up that he's from Guatemala and you saved him anymore.
Right. Even if you don't mean it, you're still saying it to get him upset because like he's adopted and you know what I'm saying? So it's like
your intent is to hurt.
Right. Your intent is there.
And she's said things even if we don't know that to be a fact, in the video I played, she's saying things to hurt him.
Yes.
So she has a track record of saying things to hurt him.
Right.
So that doesn't make that like an unbelievable thing that she might have said in the heat of a moment one time. But yeah, so he was charged and found guilty in the fall of 2021. At his sentencing, Carlos asked for justice for his mother and compassion for himself. Hallowell is eligible for sentence review 25 years into his punishment, which will make it like 2046 or something like that, I believe. He will be eligible for, a parole review. And he was not eligible for death row because he was a minor at the time of the murder. So, yes, that was the story of Carlos Hallowell and the murder of Denise Hallowell. Very sad, very tragic. A lot of elements of, like you said, the adoption thing, but, maybe not having the best intention or having good intentions, but not having the tools to be a parent. Yeah. Especially the parent of a child through adoption, and how that can play a hand in the making of a child. There was one video that I watched about the psychology of Carlos Hallowell where it was saying, regardless of any kind of behavioral issues or disorders that he might have had, one part of the antisocial personality disorder that is a big factor can be the nurture part of it, the development of a child, which would be squarely on Denise Hallowell. Like there can be predisposition to it in your family bloodline, or you have a history of bipolar disorder or something like that, that can be a factor. But the way that you're raised can be a big factor. They're saying that Denise Hallowell herself showed signs of antisocial personality disorder. She was very reserved. She didn't talk to a lot of people. She had a temper, and raising a child under those conditions and them seeing them can aid in them developing their own antisocial personality disorder. Right. So it's not just like he was born this way and so she never had a chance. Right. They are saying the way that he turned out, her raising him had a hand in that. Yeah. So, parent by blood, parent by adoption, what have you, if you don't have the tools for the job, you need to be open to knowing that, accepting that, and learning to do the job better. Sure. And I don't think that she was. I think she was like, I got this, and I'm going to do it my way. I don't need anybody's opinion on how to raise my kid. And I think that's a wrong way to go at it. It's very arrogant. You should never raise a kid arrogantly. Right. Because it takes a village. So I feel sorry for the kid, Carlos Hallowell, a kid from Guatemala who, had no say in anything, and he being brought over here, and, who he was molded into. But what he did was unacceptable and really horrible and terrible. Right, for sure. So, yeah, rest in peace to Denise Hallowell. Fran, is there anything, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that you're happy about. Anything specific, though? Like, what are you thankful for? What are you happy about? What do you got for us this week? I
am thankful for the last 2 weeks I done had off of work. I've been able to
vacation.
Vacation. I've been spending time. Yeah, spending time with the family, which is always good because I'm a homebody. I like to be in the house
for sure.
So I'm thankful for that, to be able to to spend time like that and still get paid. So
that's real nice, brother.
That's always great. Yeah.
That's brother. That's real nice. I'm thankful to be going on a trip with my boy, man. We got a trip coming up. Of course. We are on it currently, but this has become kind of like an annual thing. I don't know our future with CrimeCon, but I've been enjoying the last 3 years of getting a yearly trip with my best buddy, and going to go meet awesome people and awesome creators, and just enjoying that space, and learning about new stories, and what the new advances in true crime are. Just it's just a really cool space. So I'm looking forward to that, and having somebody to be like, what the fuck next to me. Is always nice. Yeah,
I will say that we need to figure out a way to try to go on a yearly guys trip outside of that.
Sure,
but we're working on it.
Yeah. Listen,
we're working on it.
Listen, man, the funds got to be funded for one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're working on it. It's
we slowly build that. Slowly build that. But in the meantime, this is always a fun thing that I'm thankful for this time of year. Always, or for the past 3 years, it's been a good thing to look forward to. So I'm excited, and I hope that we're down there having a good time, and everybody's safe, and I hope that people are enjoying coming up to us and talking to us, and having those tales from the hood ready to go. Yeah. Under 5 minutes would be fantastic. So I'm hoping, again, if you're coming to the booth and you want to chat with us, tell us your tales from the hood. Keep it short, keep it interesting, and keep it fun, man. We're really looking forward to seeing you guys down there in Orlando. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
My recommendation.
Get into it.
So, but first, I went to the movies for like the first time in life.
You went to the movies?
Yeah, me and the wife we had a little date night. We went to go see The Equalizer. Was it 3?
Equalizer 3?
It was good, but it was still one of those things where it was like, I don't think y'all really need to make
the third Equalizer.
The third one. But
I love the Equalizer being a trilogy. I will admit.
I love Denzel, and the Equalizer movies I like, but I mean, like, it was just like, okay,
it was fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
It didn't blow you away.
Nah, but I love action.
It's Denzel. It's Denzel.
Yeah, I love action. But the movie that me and Steph saw it's called Don't Worry, Darling. Have you heard of this movie? It's on Netflix. Don't Worry, Darling. So
no, I don't think so. Get into it.
Definitely go watch it.
Okay.
The ending sucks.
Sure.
And that will change how I feel about movies just in general.
Right, the whole movie.
This was good, and once it gets to the end, if it doesn't end how I would like to or expect to, I go, terrible. This was a waste of my time. But I did like the movie, though. I liked the movie. So what happened in the movie, that it was this couple. The guy loses his job, right? So how the movie started off is they live in this town, right? Live in this community where everybody, they all know each other. It's in a desert. nice house, fucking beautiful weather.
Harry Styles is in it.
Harry Styles is in the movie. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen this movie, no.
Okay, so
there was a lot of controversy around it, and that made me bored of it, and so I never checked it out.
And the guy from The League was in it. I can't remember his name. I like him. He's super funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's the big. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, so they live in this community, whatever, and then like everything was so perfect. I was like, what the fuck? And at first I just couldn't. The guys would go to work. The women would stay home, but the guys would all leave at the same time with nice cars. They drove in the desert to this fucking tunnel. What the fuck? But they would never show anything else after that. They would come back.
Like what the job was.
Yeah, and they would come back all at the same time, eat dinners, like the same repetitive thing every day. They would have these parties and like some black lady.
Like Pleasantville. Like every day is a great day.
Yeah, and some lady was there. She was like acting out, and it was just like kind of, ostracizing her. Was like, we need to get her out of here just because she's
messing up the vibes.
She's blowing the thing up. So that's how that went. And then the lady, Harry Styles' wife, kind of started catching on to shit, just like any other movie, just the same shit. And then I'm gonna just jump to the end. To the end, right?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I want to know, but I'm still.
So they rewind it. They do the little playback, and it's like the guy loses his job, don't know what to do. She's working. She's like a doctor. Working all these hours, and it was like he wants a better life for them both, right?
Right.
So what happened was he started listening to these crazy videos, and the whole thing was a virtual reality. So when he would leave to go to work, they would snap out of the reality, and it was to make sure that the wife was like fed and
oh wow, so they were unplugged from the Matrix.
Yeah, I said, what the hell? And they had these little things over their eyes to keep their eyes open, but that was
so they're just like in the basement somewhere.
They're like in the room, laying down. I said, what? And then something happened where she finally got away. She finally, got
so
away.
Why was she figuring it? Was she not getting fed?
The lady before was like, they're lying to us. The black lady
and that made her think about it.
And that made her think, and she started
and made her notice.
Right, and then she
got it.
And then what happened was, if you try to leave and go to the headquarters, they'll do that Men in Black shit where it's like they'll forget your memory. And then she finally escaped, and then it cuts off, and all you hear was,
the screen is black, and you just hear that.
Black. And
so she sees a room full of women plugged in. I guess is your to assume that.
She wakes up to like.
Oh, that was her breath of waking up.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, got you. I thought you meant like a gas. You mean like a gas for air? Like she woke up from the machine.
Yes.
Got you. But that was on a black screen.
Yeah, I said, what?
Okay.
That's it?
You didn't like that?
No, man.
She's awake now. She's plugged. She's awake.
Why can't they show that, though?
Cinema, man.
That's bullshit. That's why I'm not a movie person, bro. Because if they don't end how I like them to end.
You hate it.
I want to see the whole thing through. That's not seeing.
You want all the details. You want to see her wake up, kill Harry Styles. They go to jail.
Well, he's dead. He died. If you die in virtual reality, you die in real life.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I said.
But you wanted her to send everybody to the prison and.
No, I just wanted to,
You wanted more. You wanted more.
I wanted more. I don't. The ending's a movie. I just think that hasn't been perfected yet. Maybe some movies have. I just don't think some movies.
We should look up when we get a chance. We should look up the best movie endings of all time. We'll look through our list. Maybe next
the
week.
Worst, because a lot of them suck.
Worst?
A lot of them suck. Yes.
You think Don't Worry, Darling would be up on there?
For sure, man. I was upset.
Well, yeah. Well, again, that was Fran's reviews.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the review of Don't Worry, Darling, and whether you check it out or not, that's up to you. That's your business. We don't control you. Fran's not telling you to or not to watch it.
Yeah.
But that's what he thought of it. So listen, we are coming to you guys live from CrimeCon. We hope to see you down there in Orlando, and if you're not down there, that's okay. Just keep an eye out on the social medias. I've been Alvin Williams, joined as always by my partner in true crime, Fran Evans, and we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.